One of the great things about historic racing is the preservation of these old cars. And as people say, you don't actually own them, you just have the right to take care of them for a number of years. We started in a garage at home, and the obsession kind of grew a little bit to what you see around here today. The Can-Am car is a car that was developed in the mid-60s, and ostensibly there was 3 rules. First of all is the driver wasn't allowed to see the wheels. It was meant to have a second seat for a passenger, and the third rule was there were no rules. My particular Can-Am car was owned by Paul Newman and Bill Freeman. They decided they were going to get back into racing in a serious way, and they went out and they bought 3 Lola Formula 5000s, which were these Lolas, later model. T332 is actually what they were. And then they built them, and they built them in Santa Barbara, which is where Paul Newman lived. And they went and bought a little old garage, an old petrol station, and built them out the back there. There was 3 Spyder cars. The one I have is the only one left in the world. It's actually NF11. It's inscribed, and the great thing is I still talk to the guys who were the crew chiefs of the cars today. In fact, some of the wings and spare parts were sent to me when they found out that I had restored the cars. While we were restoring the 5000, Kevin Bartlett had seen some of the work we've done, and he is a very, very famous, not only Australian racer, very successful Australian racer, but was very successful in Lolas and in Formula 5000 racing. And he decided that he'd come up to us and said, because you build the cars so well, I was wondering whether you'd be interested in buying the remains of my car and rebuilding it. So John and I decided that what we'd do is we'd scan the internet while Kevin was sending us the details of what was left of the car, and find all the parts. And in so doing, John came across a guy called Bill Paddock in America. Bill put it on the market for sale after doing some work on it, couldn't quite get it working. So we bought the car back. It was restored in a form, but as everyone who's seen it, the car is totally rebuilt. It's a totally different car. It is literally 5 to 7 seconds a lap on any circuit faster than it was when we first took it out. It's got a lot of wing, as they say, and it has a lot of downforce on it. The brakes on it, in those days they would have called them aircraft quality. They are Lockheed double caliper brakes, so it really stops on a dime. Massive, massive ventilated discs. And the interesting thing is they're so big, those discs, we can't even get them hot because our races are so short. In terms of its performance, it's Chevy powered. The car weighs probably about 700 kilos. That's excluding the fat driver. There's 120 litres of avgas. It gets probably about 1 litre per kilometre when we're at full noise. Kicks out somewhere in excess of 650 horsepower and about 600 feet of torque, and torque is what really is, that's what drives you through the corners. It's got a typical Hewland DG300 gearbox. The cars are very brittle, you've got to take care of them. They talk about supercars that do 0 to 100 in 3 seconds. They're way behind us by the time we're at 100, we're around the corner. They are dangerous. There is no question they're dangerous. You're actually sitting on a fuel tank and 120 litres of fuel. The first thing that hits 6 inches back from the airfoil is your feet and your legs. So there's a lot of people who walk around with the Lola limp. Do we win money? No. Is there trophies? About that big, usually made of plastic. So you don't justify how much money you've spent on the cars, but the passion that goes into it and the involvement of everyone around. One of the guys got very enthusiastic on the first day, on the first practice session, on the second corner, and shunted me at 160. The people in the pits who I were racing against rallied around. One guy worked from Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock till 4 a.m. Saturday morning, refabricating parts so we could put it back together. Another guy lent us the whole rear of his race car, his gearbox, his axles. I didn't have the pleasure of doing it all of my life, but I've got back into the cars that I loved which were around when I was 16. They're fantastic cars to have and own, very proud to do it, and to take them out and race them.